All right, here we have Oncehuman version 1.4.2 update. Dear Meta, we are planning on a server maintenance on February 26th at 8 p.m. The maintenance is expected to last about 2 hours, but the actual duration may differ. Please plan your game time accordingly for the best experience. This update brings a Cradle hiding feature, a new limited time Wish Machine prize pool, the new Frontline Dispatch Battle Pass, weapon adjustments, and various bug fixes. Since launch, we've been closely monitoring feedback from the community and working on fixes and optimizations. Below are the details of this update. New content. New cosmetic hiding feature. This is going to have a lot of people really happy because they've been upset about the Cradle always being visible and it being difficult to hide or display things that they want to see. So this is you can see here in the display settings, there's basically everything you're going to be able to hide or display, and it's going to really be a big deal for a lot of people. And then, yeah, that's how you can see what it's going to look like before and after. And this is probably the biggest part of this update. This is huge. Selling deviations from the vending machine. Players can now trade deviations in face-to-face transactions or via the vending machine. So the heading is a little misleading there. You can trade them person to person, not just at the vending machines. You can now sell multiple items per slot at the vending machine, which can be purchased separately. So now if you are like me and you've got 3 level 5s of a deviation that you don't need, and you're still trying to get that level 5 Pyro Dino, well, now you can trade it. This is going to be huge. I know a ton of people are in that same boat of a ridiculous number of copies of one deviation, but not the one they want. So yeah, big deal here. All right, new Wish Machine prize pools. New limited time Wish Machine prize pools will be available after the update on February 26th. Each prize pool lasts for 3 weeks. Brahmini Bounce includes the legendary weapon Brahmini. Explosive Burn includes the legendary weapon blueprint Boom Boom. That's the KVD Boom Boom. Sharp Bounce includes the legendary gear blueprints Sharp Blade Pants, Bastille Jacket, Bastille Shoes, and Bastille Gloves. So if any of those weapons are part of the builds that you primarily use, you're going to want to definitely use these prize pools, because Wish Machine prize pools, when they feature something you want, is the absolute best way to get your blueprints up to that maximum star level. Event adjustments. The end date of the Gather Friends and Accept Invitation events has been changed to April 24th, 2025. New shop arrivals. The new Frontline Dispatch Battle Pass will be available after the maintenance on the 26th. And you can see here the cosmetics are gonna start actually making your character look a little bit more like, they're an actual human in an actual post-apocalyptic world. A little more gritty, a little more realistic, which I know that some people have been talking about. So yeah, you can see here that's going to be a nice addition for a number of people looking for that. And this new addition for those who have the fire motorcycle skin, you got a very nice addition to the weapon skins, looks like, as well as the armors. Future shop arrivals. Here's one more. This will be on March 6th. This one gives me kind of like Van Helsing, Camilla type vibes. So that's pretty nice there. Still, looks like you could potentially be in a post-apocalyptic world. A little bit more into the fantasy, romantic kind of skins that they've been doing, but still a nice one there. And very nice skins for your territory and furniture also going to be available. All right, optimizations. Scenario challenge. Optimize the interaction and display effects on the scenario challenge screen. Optimize the scenario challenge guidance. When the scenario phase changes, V will offer a guide on unlocking scenario challenges. changed the Novice Scenario Challenge task for all Manibus scenarios that open after February 26th. Tasks are now categorized into Guidance, Merge, and Collect. Complete the challenges to claim Mitsuko's marks and an avatar frame. Note, the Novice Scenario Challenge tasks for Manibus scenarios opened before February 26 will not change. Optimizations to other scenarios are under development. We will update you on our progress in future announcements. Thank you for your patience. Now, it doesn't mention anything here, but on their Twitter, they've announced that they're going to be moving to permanent servers starting pretty soon. So what that means is gone is going to be this whole cycle of moving to a new server, leveling up, and rinse and repeating every time a server comes to its end or you reach the enrollment phase. And that's got a lot of people who've been looking at it, looking at the game, wanting to join, but instantly turn away when they find out, oh, you lose a lot of your progress after a month. That's going to be bringing in a lot of new people. And I think it's, from a business standpoint, very smart that they're taking that feedback into account and implementing this before mobile release comes out and bring in all those new players. I do also understand that players like me actually sort of, after the first shock of this is weird, I got my head around it and I'm like, well, any game that has any sort of new expansions where you have to level and all of your gear becomes useless a couple of minutes into that new expansion when you start getting new stuff, it's not really that different. So, I actually kind of liked the whole re-leveling and keeps it a little more fresh as opposed to the stagnation that can occur on these permanent servers. So the idea that I had, and I hope that this can gain some traction or something similar, would be something equivalent to a prestige system where you can voluntarily reset your level. And maybe let's make that time gated so you can't have somebody who finds an exploit in the game and just has nothing other than to exploit that, get 20 prestige levels in one day. Maybe time gated so that it's only once a month you can reset. But then you can maybe also give rewards for these prestige. So maybe extra star crom. And so that could, give the best of both worlds for people who really don't want to have to redo this. They want to be able to keep playing on a permanent server, but you won't polarize and lose the people who loved what was unique about the existing system. I don't know, something along those lines I think would work really well. So, weapon balance adjustments. After analyzing combat performance and community feedback, we've discovered that some weapon builds are not performing as intended, which limits the player's strategic options. To ensure weapon diversity and fair competition, we will make phased weapon adjustments, starting with the following. Hazardous object, attribute 2, the reloading time minus 40%, and the reload action is replaced by throwing your weapon, consuming ammo, blast damage to targets within 3 meters, equal to 50% plus consumed ammo times 18% psi intensity, capping at, and this is, if I'm reading this correctly, the first part that's actually changing, capping at 450% will now cap at 480%. The effect benefits of the unstable bomber's damage and range bonus and deals used to be 50% will now deal 40% damage to yourself. I've heard that actually doesn't really do any damage to yourself. So I don't know if they're fixing it and now you will start to take damage, but at a reduced amount. We'll see. I didn't see it in the bug fixes they mentioned. Hammerhead, number 2, attribute 2. Hitting an affected enemy with the power surge, deal shock element damage. Used to be 60%, will now be 80% of psi intensity to all nearby enemies affected by power surge. Damage to the main target is increased to 150% or 100% if the main player is a player, if the target is a player. Number 3, Memento, attribute 3. Each shot has a 50% chance to consume 1 extra bullet and gain, used to be plus 80%, will now be plus 100% attack. Attribute 4, which is entirely new, is if a shot does not hit a target, the next reload will load 1 additional bullet capped at 5. Number 4, fix an issue in Prism vs. Clash where damage dealt by deviations was not adjusted for PvP, resulting in excessively high damage. Developer notes: building on our experience, future balance adjustments will adhere to the following principles. Number 1, PvE and PvP balance adjustments will be completely decoupled to prevent mismatches in strength. That's great, all for it. Number 2, we will avoid making drastic adjustments at once to minimize negative impacts on players' current builds and progressions. Also very much for that. New blueprint conversion attempts will be issued after this update. That is super huge, super nice. Additionally, other weapon balance suggestions for the community are under consideration and will be gradually implemented based on their urgency. You can send us suggestions via customer support or the CodeDev feedback platform. I have a suggestion, gonna try to submit, suggest you do too. Let's keep adding these additional conversion attempts anytime there's a big change to weapons or gear or anything, because you have all these people who are super annoyed now that their main build is garbage, or people who want to try the changes. Well, that's a great way to keep people happy. And it doesn't make sense to have the same number of conversion attempts in a week where there's 0 changes as in a week where there's like a massive update. So Lunar Oracle added a tip for lost lunar whispers. If the player blacks out during a lunar oracle, the amount of lunar whispers lost will now be indicated in the bottom left of the screen. Purification mode. Remove the limit of 40 rewards per week for purification mode. Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense now that most people are maxing out the Stellar Stairway and have all of these asterism crates that they have nothing to do with. The maximum number of Eclipse Cortexes and Chaotic Cortexes per purification is now 10. After purification, you will gain both Asterism and Stardust Source. Now, I don't remember, because it's been so long, if you actually used to get Stardust Source, if that was always the case. If that's new, this is a great addition, because, yeah, that gives you some reason to actually do the purifications. If it's just been so long that I've completely forgot that that's always been the case, nah. Construction. Number 1, change the water depth for construction from 10 meters to 1 meter. Number 2, added a second confirmation tip when demolishing a thermal tower. Number 3, change the permission rules for farming facilities so that only friends with a storage permission can interact with them. Number 4, added scroll wheel functionality to control snapping to 90-degree increments to another player's territory during relocation. Number 5, optimize the dimensions of 1/4 materials. Vehicles. Number 1, optimize the model performance and physics of motorcycles. Number 2, optimize the stability of vehicles while airborne. Number 3, added the ability to steer vehicles while airborne. You can now control the vehicle's angle and position more precisely before landing. That's going to be really nice, I think. I know this is wishful thinking, but for some reason, the number 2 and 3 are getting me thinking, do they have plans to implement flying things in the future? Wilderness. Number 1, added new wilderness navigation shortcuts. Number 2, added a indicator bar for Stardust concentration. So that's nice. You're going to be able to see where the higher and lower concentration areas or pollution areas are. Teams. Adjusted the maximum number of players per hive in Manibus to 16. Backpack. Added the ability to destroy bound items. Bound items can now be destroyed after being discarded. Destroyed items cannot be recovered, so proceed with caution. Visual. Optimize the visual appearance of scenic viewpoints in the volcanic region. Audio. Optimized the reload sound effect of the Brahmini. Bug fixes. Shop. Fixed an issue where the Human Barricade Academy male fashion was not displayed correctly. Number 2, fix an issue where the White Reaper male fashion was not displayed correctly. Lunar Oracle fixed an issue where if the player was defeated by a deviant that spawned due to gathering during a Lunar Oracle, the wrong cause of death was displayed. Wilderness. Number 1, fix an issue where the shelter next to a teleportation tower was in the wrong position. Number 2, fix an issue where weather change tips sometimes appear despite no actual weather changes. Number 3, fix an issue affecting the location of loot crates in Sutherland. Number 4, fix an issue affecting the gathering progress of logging and mining facilities. Dungeons, fix an issue where super anomalies did not spawn in some securement silos. Territory, number 1, fix an issue where for some body types the character's hands and legs clipped while sitting. Number 2, fix an issue where the character's eyes were open while asleep, which is not creepy at all, especially if it happens to be during the lunar moon cycles where your eyes are glowing red. Number 3, fix an issue where the territory's angle changed after relocation. Number 4, fix an issue when the patterns of 1/4 concrete's roof 1, 2, and 3 were not aligned. Combat. Number 1, fix an issue where if some deviants' corpses overlapped after death, their ragdoll physics would malfunction, launching them into the air. Number 2, fix an issue affecting the size of some melee weapon skins. Number 3, fix an issue where ice crystals had delayed spawning. Number 4, fix an issue where the bounty hunter weapon damage bonus did not stack. That's going to be pretty big, I think. Number 5, fixed an issue where the Renegade 4-piece set's additional reload effect did not trigger when reloading from an empty magazine. That's also going to be pretty nice, I think. Vehicles. Number 1, fix an issue where the vehicle repair button conflicted with the territory repair function. Number 2, fixed an issue where alighting from a motorcycle caused the player to fall underground in some situations. Mods, fixed an issue where some epic mods could be upgraded 5 times. Guidance. Number 1, fixed an issue where the panel in the bottom left of the world map did not display after holding X multiple times. Number 2, fixed an issue where shadows drifted after selecting a custom pin and zooming. Number 3, fix an issue where the world map would mistakenly pop up after exiting a dungeon or teleporting. Thanks so much. Please subscribe to keep getting these as they come out. Thanks.